Hey, hey, Blue Table fans! Oh man, the light in this room is great. Ah, like that? Yeah. Oh, but it's reflecting off my glasses. Hold on. How will I look normal? Normal, man. Hold on. Here we go. Just high on life. Yeah. All right. So topics. This is a cogent commentary. This is opposed to the ramble. It's the same as a ramble. All right. First off, Rick and Morty season 3 is going, so you owe it to your life to check out Rick and Morty. It's this only a show this smart could be this stupid. However, I think that's their tagline. And it is. It's a really smart show. All my kids love it. We watch every episode together. Well, no, we're not that good at that. We theoretically watch every episode together. But usually we don't want to wait for the arranged time. First off, if you'd like to set up a project, oh man, things are strong right now. So check the liner notes for an email for that. We're ready to take all comers. And so, you know, I was at the local game shop and I was looking at the Star Wars ship combat thing. And I gotta tell you, I hate to say it, it's heresy. I'll have to like rip one of my nerd cred stars off my lapel, what's it called, epaulettes, you know, but I'm done with Star Wars. I'm Star Wars'd out, guys. I can't have any more Star Wars. The magic, where's the magic? And I think it's just, there's just, Star Wars is just like, it's just like Star Wars is just being like crammed down your throat, you know. Take more Star Wars, get more merchandise, Star Wars this, Star Wars that. And it was magic at the time. And that made me wonder, as I'm wandering around the game store, looking at everything and not really wanting to leave. You know what I'm talking about. And so not really wanting to go. And I was like, where's the magic now? Like, what's the magic? What's the thing that's coming out right now that's really cool? And I was trying to think of examples of that, and I was like, well, Firefly was magic, like to discover something new. And then I started thinking about the nature of the human experience. We're driven by new things. There's a new sort of ages of life that keep coming up, and it's different. And nostalgia is a thing, to go back and sort of relive something that was pleasurable, but you know, you don't ever really quite capture that same thing. And it made me think, well, what's magic now? What's exciting now? And for those of you that haven't, you know, this is on one of my earlier rambles, but I think of things in terms of what I call the 3 joys. The joy of acquiring something, the joy of having something, the joy of giving it away. And acquiring, that's like collecting. So that thrill of like getting something new and that fresh out of the shrink wrap sort of feeling, that smell. And then hold on a second. And the joy of having can be the joy of collecting, too, to admire something, to have. So somebody collects cars, they have them all on display, and it's like, gives them this great feeling when they go in and, look at my collection of cars. And then, of course, the joy of using something, that falls under having as well, to actually use it and experience whatever that object is. And then, of course, the last joy, which is sometimes overlooked, the joy of giving something away. And I like selling something that has a certain energy. It can be great, but you receive something. When you sell something, you get the money. So there's never like an open spot. The money comes back. Of course, then you can change the money for the next new thing. And so let's see here. Oh yeah, and then of course I started thinking about Games Workshop, and it's like they've put out so many miniatures. How do you the part of nature is things sort of cycling and recycling, and there's like a full circle where something, you know, dies off and is sort of mulched out. You know, the bacteria break it down to component molecules, and I thought, you know, well, but miniatures, do miniatures ever do that? They the secondary market just gets more and more bloated. And there has to be mechanisms to keep the industry alive, to keep the experience alive. There has to be some mechanism by which sort of the old stuff kind of phases out. And I see that on my end, especially with bluetablestore.com. Plug! And oh, and just incidentally, bluetablestore.com, like I go on eBay and it's like, hey, 30% off. I'm like, that's great. Don't get me wrong, I'm not being ungrateful, but that's not like, ba-ba, you know, awesome. So on my thing, I made it a goal to have things at about, not always, but about 50% off, sometimes less than that. To go on there and be like, oh, what a great deal, I'm buying it. I want people to go on there and just be like, this is a no-brainer. How quick can I put this together? How quick can I get through the checkout process? So you owe it to your life to poke around that store. It's kind of picked over. We're on lot number, I started with 400 lots. And that was just the miscellaneous stuff we had laying around the store. And that grew, I think we got to 14,000 items. Total, not at one time. And it was quite a bit. And now I think we have like 2,000 things on there, 2,000 lots. Don't quote me on that. I just think that's about right. In fact, if you go on my project update page, there's a picture of my blue-haired assistant, Jamie, and she came in today and condensed everything. She's fantastic, and really just a serendipity. Like, I wasn't expecting her to work out so well. So anyway, well, I don't have much expectations of humans anymore. Somebody was like, I was talking to somebody and the topic of friendship came up, and like my answer was so cynical, and I was like, oh, Sean, what's wrong with you? This can't be the person you're turning into. And but then I thought about it later, and I just accept the transitory nature of relationships. And this ties into the joys of acquiring and giving away, the idea of a cycle, a natural cycle of things. And, you know, that's what happens. Relationships sort of drift apart and new ones come together, and that's okay. So I've come to terms with the transitory nature of relationships. And especially in business, you know, people move on, they got other things going on, and, you know, that's all right. And it's good. It's healthy. You need to get that old stuff out and that new stuff in. And sometimes as sort of a what's it called, like intellectual device, I think, well, what if I was to be in perfect health to age 300? How would I change my life? It's like, well, I would definitely take it a lot easier. I'd be okay, and I think I would plan the time out better. I'd actually say, hey, I've got, you know, it'd be easy to gain these lifelong masteries that take 20 years. But in a lifespan of 80 years, and at age 48, it's like, well, how do I want to spend my time? And it's certainly not stress balling about things. So I'm done with that. Things have gone a lot better. So same thing with copyrights is, I don't know the exact details, but from what I've read, it's that Disney basically lobbied to get the copyright extended from 50 years to 70 years so they could hold on to Mickey Mouse because he was about to enter the public domain. And it's like, you know, and if you think about it, if let's say copyrights lasted forever, then there would be no turnover, and eventually all the ideas would be taken. Everything would be patented. Like, how hard is it harder now to come up with an original idea or something that hasn't been done before, or something that doesn't have sort of legal defenses around it. And you know, I've learned a lot about copyrights. So yeah, we're working on about 54 projects right now, which is good. And because what happens is there's a pulse to this company. It's like there's 54 projects, and then we chop them down, and then we add new ones. We chop them down, and we add new ones. Now, for a long time, it's like you can't have too many projects. You can't have too little. That's the problem most places have. But if you have too many, then it's like you've got to clear them. They can't just stagnate there. So it's like you chop them down, then you get them back. You chop them down, you get them back. And so it was like going down like this. And that's good. That's so healthy. And I'm learning new things about my company. I'm learning how to run things better. I thought I knew it all. I didn't know it all. And I still don't know it all. I've still got other things cooking, other things that are exciting. So anyway, I want to get it down to 20-30. Like 30 projects is the maximum, and then it goes down and then up. Yeah, I think I mentioned this before. I think I'm deja vuing. Like in October 2008, I was only booked out to on October 1st, I was only booked out to October 30th. And that's like a nail biter too. You know, it's like, oh, do I have new things? Little did I know, it was going to be ridiculous and awesome. Well, that's all I had on my topics, except one thing. I've been interested for years in health and nutrition. Haven't always done it. I've had kind of my slumps, you know, and I think that's human nature. And little did I know that weightlifting would be the thing that I'd be interested in. Of course, if you saw my home routine and equipment, you'd be like, shake your head. Prepare to be disappointed. And so, yeah, it's something that, so I've started in, not more aggressive, like I'm very careful because I want something to stick. And as I watch videos and start becoming educated, to become fit, like really in good shape, I think it's a year minimum would be, and because if something's forced, the change can be too quick. And then there's like a snapback. There's repercussions for going outside of the natural flow of things. And that's why I'm really careful when I incorporate something into my life. If I want it to be permanent, I know that I've got to make it enjoyable. Appeal to the hedonist inside myself, the lazy guy. Make it something that's interesting that I really enjoy doing. And I got to get a bike. Oh, in other news, I've set a goal to collect all 20 Pathfinder adventure paths. So in case you don't know what these are, a company called Paizo, well, I've explained this before. The publisher is Paizo, and every month they come out with a module, an adventure for what used to be the good old D&D system. So anyway, and then it starts. So the first issue of the 6-issue run is you start out at first level, and by the time you're through all 6 of them, you're at 18th level. And so it goes there's part 1 through 6. And they do one every month, so they do 2 adventure paths a year. And I've been looking at it, I'm like, if I wanted to run all of these from start to finish, it couldn't happen. I simply wouldn't have enough time in life, unless, of course, that's all I did for years on end, to catch up with all 20 of them. Because you really, if you had a group meeting every week, the adventure path would be about right. You'd be able to get through one module every month. So anyway, they've made 20 of them in the last 10 years, and I've set my mind to collecting all of them. And so if you have some, please contact me, because it would be it'd be really helpful. And I can tell you which ones I have and which ones I'm missing. I'm also getting my teenage daughter. She just turned 18, and she really loves anime. So I've started just piece by piece collecting all the Studio Ghibli films. So 21 films is what they've produced. And apparently their last one, I thought they were still cranking them because they've been so successful. It's like, well, why stop? And but apparently, I think it's 2014 was their last, so 3 years they haven't produced anything. And I'm like, well, you know, maybe that's a natural course of thing. Like, you can't live forever. Like, Disney has become this monstrosity that they own Marvel and Star Wars and the mountains of IP. And where does it stop? You know, but it's exciting. I mean, obviously they bring a lot to the table, and they've done things with Marvel that I don't think Marvel could have done on their own. And it's funny how, you know, things start out so small, so humble, and they can grow into something really, really amazing. And of course, it makes me wonder where Blue Table Painting may end up. It's interesting. Yeah, maybe I'm thinking too much for my own good. Well, guys, thanks for tuning in. Do let me know if you want to set up a project. Do let me know if you have some of those Pathfinder adventures. The ones that are giving me a hard time are Council of Thieves and Kingmaker. So the other ones, I'm pretty sure I'll be able to track them all down and reasonably get those in. Yep, that is it. So thanks for tuning in.